Listen to what Mark Zuckerberg says in this clip with his recent podcast with Joe Rogan, and we'll comment about it right after this.
Of free speech limitations, censorship, government overreach. If anybody saw it, look, I don't know what the actual impact of the Hunter Biden laptop story would have been. I don't know. But there's many people that think it probably amounted to millions of votes overall in the country of people that were on the fence, the people that weren't sure who they're going to vote for. If they found out the Hunter Biden laptop was real, they're like, oh, this is fucking crazy. And they would have voted for Trump. That's possibly real. And if that's possibly real, that could be defined as election interference. And all that stuff scares the shit out of me. That kind of stuff scares the shit out of me when the government gets involved in what could be termed election interference, but through some weird loophole, it's legal. Whereas some
I don't think
interference,
that the pushing for social media companies to censor stuff was legal. I mean, it's like that's.
Right.
I mean, there's all this stuff about what, people talk about the First Amendment and okay, these tech platforms should offer free speech like the First Amendment. That I think is a philosophical principle. The First Amendment doesn't apply to companies in our content moderation. It's more of an American ethos about how we think that best dialogue is carried out. But the First Amendment does apply to the government. That's like the whole point, right? Is the government is not allowed to censor this stuff.
And this is true. The First Amendment does not apply to companies. It applies to governments. But what if you have a behemoth company that is controlled somehow by the government? A behemoth company that receives a lot of funding from the government in order to exercise power over us. When the government exercises or instructs the company to censor us, then the company becomes a proxy of the government. And in that sense, the company is an extension of the government, and therefore the company is subject to the First Amendment and keeping our freedom, our rights. I'm not a scholar. I'm not a legal scholar, but I think that this is only what makes sense. You cannot have the government using companies as their proxy to violate our rights. That is unconstitutional. What do you think?